world are you looking for?
I'm looking for our CNC plasma cutting table.
Plasma cutting table?
Yeah.
Have you been watching too much Motor Trend again?
Oh. Okay, so apparently we don't have a CNC plasma cutting table, so that's not going to stop us from doing what we're going to do today. Today we're going to fix a problem that I've had ever since I started doing LS stuff. We are going to keep the air conditioning compressor in the stock location, and it is going to be made so you will not have to cut the frame to get to it, okay?
Sweet.
So let's get to it.
Let's do it.
Alright, so the stock compressor location on a LS engine, most of these, the donors that most of these people are using are the trucks and Suburbans and all these. So there's a bazillion of them out here that are just like this, okay? And the problem with putting one of these in a square body is from this location on the engine block to the frame, you have about 3.5 inches, okay?
Okay.
And that is on a square body. I know on the 67 to 72, it's not possible to do either, but I'm pretty confident by doing this, you could do that without cutting the frame.
That would be sweet.
On that. So 67 all the way up to 87, okay? So how many years is that, 2?
Yeah, something like that.
All right, so we are going to get to it. I have already done it, okay?
Okay.
This is something that I've thought about doing ever since we did our 74 and I cut the frame on it.
Yeah.
It bugged me when I did that. I always thought, well, there's got to be a solution to do it. And there is, and I did one this week, and this is just a prototype. That's why it's this ugly. But today we are going to make one that is nice looking and permanent.
Cool.
Okay? Let's get to it. All right, I'll show you how I go about doing it, because the biggest problem with trying to make a bracket is getting that compressor to sit, perfectly parallel with your crankshaft.
Yeah,
okay? So
keeping your belt in line.
Yeah, so your pulley's lined up. So it took me a couple tries to figure out how I was going to do it, and I'll show you my method of how I did it.
Okay.
Okay. Hopefully these are all the tools we need. You're going to need some pretty precise measuring tools, okay?
Okay.
I mean, they don't have to be like dial indicator precise, but just some good rulers,
Yeah.
Some good metal rulers and a couple little straight edges. What I did on this engine, the stock position on this compressor bolts into the engine block right there, okay?
Okay.
So I know that that's the spot that it sits, and that's how it's going to get the correct length that goes and matches up to the crankshaft. So what I did was get rid of this, pull the stock bracket out of it, got rid of it. And then I go back, bolted it back up. All right.
Okay.
So you won't need that bracket anymore. Okay. And I come into the engine block, okay?
Okay.
And I measured from there out to my pulley, okay?
Okay.
And you could measure anything that you want, but I'm doing it off of the pulley, I measured it from there. Or you can measure it off of that if you like to. But,
yeah.
Some
kind of point of reference.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll measure it off of that. Okay.
Okay.
So 2 and 2/16. Is that right? Just a little bit less than that, 2 1/8.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna write that measurement down. Okay.
Okay.
So 2 1/8. So, just to show you my prototype real quick. You do, on this stock one, we'll have to cut that, what would you call it?
Like an ear,
Yeah.
kind of?
Yeah, ear off, okay? So, by doing this bracket, when I measure out from there, it is quite a bit less than 3.5. So that's the high side line. It'll miss the frame, no problem.
Sweet.
So when we get this new bracket done, this is what we're going for, all right?
Okay.
Okay. All right, so your center line on your engine, okay, your crankshaft. This, just by chance, this bolt and that bolt are parallel with the crankshaft, okay?
Okay.
So these are going to be the two bolts that I use as a reference to keep the compressor perfectly straight.
Okay.
And it's also machined at the same height. So if I keep my bracket at that plane, it's also going to be straight in line. What would you call that?
Perpendicular.
Yeah,
I guess.
perpendicular to the pulley.
Okay.
Okay? It's probably the wrong word, but
Oh well.
oh well.
Words.
Wigs. All right, my prototype, it had some problems, and when we do this one, like a good prototype, we're gonna make the real one now, okay?
Okay.
And it'll be much better than that one.
Little R&D.
Yeah, good. So, here's what I did. I want to, this bolt hole right here, we are gonna use that bolt hole. I want to know the center of my piece of steel, okay?
Okay.
What I gotta do is drill a hole right here,
Okay.
okay, to make up with that one. And then I have to scribe a line and make sure I get a perfect center line. And then I'm going to make another hole that mates up with that. And that will ensure that my bracket is straight,
Yep.
okay?
Sweet.
So we can come in here. The first bolt, it doesn't really matter. We can kind of eyeball it. Let's see. Try to get it what its center would be. All right.
Okay.
And then come in here. That's not good either. All right. So that is where I want my first bolt hole. All right. Okay. All right. We're gonna want to center punch stuff. I'm gonna just start it a little bit.
Okay.
Now I'm gonna come across and measure it. And to do that, I'm going to use this. Okay.
Okay.
And I'm gonna come back here, mark it.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so that's a permanent mark. So you want to do it with something like that. So and plus it's pretty precise. Okay.
Yep.
So and we'll drill this one out, and then we'll find the center line of that next bolt hole, and we'll get this plate in there.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool. Oh boy.
We're going to use our new drill. So the bolts on that thing are 10 millimeter by 1.5 millimeter thread pitch. Okay. So, and these are the bolts that were the original ones. But you want to make that bolt hole tight. You don't want to make it big. Okay?
Yeah.
It's 25/64 is that drill bit for that 10 millimeter bolt. Okay? Just in case you want to know. And it does not have any side-to-side play. Okay?
Okay.
So, we got one hole drilled. We'll come in, and now we need to drill our next hole. Okay?
Okay.
And if we drill our next hole on our center line with that bolt, then we will have this portion of the bracket perfectly parallel with the crankshaft.
Okay.
Follow me so far?
Yes.
Okay. To get that center, I'm going to use this. Okay?
Ooh,
Pretty fancy.
that is fancy.
Look center to you?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so new piece. And this one, like it does not have to be perfect. If it ends up being perfect, that's great. But it could be off. We could, have the bolt hole wallowed out back and forth a little bit. You just don't want any up and down play.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as long as we get our center line here, we'll be good.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Another hole. All right, so let's see if our bolts hit. And this one is good. So it's just a little bit too far forward. Okay. So I can make this hole. I can wallow that hole out in that direction and that direction if I wanted to. And as long as it holds this from moving up and down. Okay. That's what we want.
Okay.
Since this is our center line. Okay. All right. So I had to oblong that one out just a little bit. I didn't get the center line on it just perfect. And then on that one, went and bought this from the hardware store. It's what would you call that? It's a hex head, but
Yes, Allen.
yep. So,
This Allen guy.
yeah, who's Alan? Okay, so I'm gonna put my original compressor back up there again.
Okay.
Now I'm going to come in here and I'm going to use a little metal ruler as a straight edge. Okay, so I'm going to want a piece there, and I need a piece coming out here. All right.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is I'm going to cut a couple pieces of metal that we're going to weld on that stick out here.
Okay.
All right. Don't need that anymore.
I mean, you'll need it eventually.
I know, eventually. Okay. I'm also gonna, we're gonna use that bolt hole also. All right. So we're gonna want to just cover that, and then so I need a piece that long.
Okay.
Okay. And then we just need a piece that's an inch. Okay. Out here. So that piece is about an inch. So let's say to there.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, in case I didn't mention it, this stuff is 1.5 inches wide, 1/4 inch thick. This is hot rolled steel. It's very strong. It has virtually no give right there.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's all the way out here. So by the time we weld everything up, it's going to be pretty solid. Okay.
Sweet.
Okay. So I need to weld this piece onto there.
Okay.
And I need to, I need to weld this piece onto there.
Oh, yeah.
And I need to weld this piece onto there. Okay?
Okay.
And then I also have to have another one that comes out here.
Okay.
All right? So I'm just going to continue my mark straight out. Okay? And in order to get a good weld on this stuff, I'm gonna put a little chamfer on it. Okay.
Okay.
So give it a second to do that. I need to mount a vise to this bench.
Ooh, that'd be sweet.
So this piece will be there, and this piece goes right there.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll line them up with my line. Okay.
Sweet.
All right, so I'm just going to tack these for now.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so everything's held in place now, okay?
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to weld them up, and then we're going to let them cool off naturally.
Okay.
Okay?
So we don't warp it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not the greatest, but it'll work. It's not how good of a welder you are, it's how good of a grinder you are.
Exactly.
Right?
That's what I always say.
I had you do that one, it would have been better.
Think so?
Probably. Alright, so now we're gonna let it cool. We're gonna let it cool off, and then we'll flip it over, and then we'll grind this flat, okay? And then we'll put my plate back on it, hold it tight from the top side, and then we'll weld it again and let it cool off again.
Oh, I see.
And that being your best bet of having it stay flat.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
The way I'm doing it though, if it's not perfectly flat though, it doesn't matter. From that point, it doesn't matter, so.
Yeah. As long as that center line is your big...
Yep. Alright, while that's cooling off, let's make our pieces that the compressor is actually gonna be bolted to, okay?
Okay.
It will go to there, okay?
Okay.
So, in order to do that, on this one, I just used some channel L-shaped stuff just to see if it worked and everything. So I'm going to take a measurement off of it. This is 1-inch bar, hot rolled, I think. Hot or cold rolled would work. This doesn't have to be super strong because the compressor is just sitting against it. Okay, it's just a platform.
Oh, I see.
So I'm going to take it to the chop saw. I'm going to try to cut a piece that length.
Okay.
Okay, and then once we cool it off, and try to make two pieces that are pretty well the same. Okay.
Sweet.
And I need them to be cut pretty flat.
Ooh, yeah.
All right, so I'll cut this end, and then I'll use this end too, because that was done by whoever I purchased it from.
Okay.
I got it on Amazon.
Sweet.
Curious to see how flat my chop saw cut it, you know?
Yeah.
So, let's give it a try. Huh, not too bad.
Sweet.
See that? Oh, it's a pretty good high spot right there, but it's a lot better than what I thought it would be.
Mm-hmm.
See it?
Yep.
All right. So I got to cut another one.
That's the bucket.
So, what we have to do is we need to drill a hole and tap this, okay?
Okay.
So it screws into that, all right?
Okay.
Because it's going to have one sitting right here, and another one sitting back here, and then another one here, okay?
Oh, I see.
And we don't care, like I said, about how flat it is, because basically it's just going to get bolted solid to this, and then we are going to weld it in place.
Oh, I see.
Okay. So what we got to do now is find the center line on that. It's exactly 1 inch. And this doesn't have to be perfect either, but it's nice if it is, you know.
Yeah.
Okay. This is where a lathe would be great.
Yeah.
Make something like that. Alrighty, so it is going to get tapped, so now we got to change our drill size.
Okay.
We're gonna tap it out to that 10 millimeter, 10 by 1.5. So we're gonna use a 11/32 drill. I love this new drill.
Pretty sweet.
One of our auction finds.
Mm-hmm.
$60.
$60.
I like that.
Yeah. It's worth that much in scrap. This thing is heavy.
Okay, let's do the other one. Is that right? Okay.
Sweet.
Alright, so this is cooled off.
Okay.
Okay. So we can take and grind it, clean it up on this side. Would you want to do that?
Sure.
Great. So go ahead and grind my terrible weld flat, okay?
Okay.
And make it look good.
Okay.
But we'll end up having to take this piece of steel, we'll clamp it, we'll have a flat surface there then we'll clamp it on the other side of it after you get that smoothed off, and we'll weld the other side.
Okay.
Okay?
Cool.
So go ahead and
Okay.
grind it.
Sweet.
And they will not be seen ever, you know, so just do what you can to get them flat quick.
Okay.
Looks pretty good. How do you not catch your hair on fire? Oh, wait a second, it is.
Oh. Okay.
All right, so we're gonna flip our piece of metal around.
Okay.
We're going to weld up this side. Do it the same method. Okay, you want to weld it?
Sure.
All right, so don't need to tack it, just go ahead and do yourself a nice bead on both of them.
Okay.
Okay?
I'm gonna put my gloves on because I'm a wuss.
It's a good idea.
You know, these are Answer Racing welding gloves.
From your motorcycle racing days?
Yeah. Supercross career.
looks nice. We won't even have to grind that one.
Think so?
Nope.
Good answer.
I'm just gonna have you weld stuff from now on. Yep, another really nice one.
Sweet.
Cool. Alright. So we'll let it cool down normally on its own.
So right here for now.
Let's put the other piece on it. Okay.
Sweet.
Put it underneath here. That way. Sparks get you?
A little bit. Kind of spicy.
Okay. Alright, so we had already made our mark there for where that one goes, so we're going to put it right there. Okay? I'm just going to have you weld it since you do better welds than me.
Alright.
Okay? It doesn't seem to be wanting to move any, so just go ahead and weld it up.
Think so?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, another really nice one.
It's a little skimpy.
How embarrassing.
Like how you say "huh" at the end, like you're surprised.
Yeah. I think I'm going to have to start doing a little bit of practicing. Or I might have to get some better glasses. Looks
That's the
good.
hardest part about welding is the parts you can't see,
Mm-hmm.
which is like most of it.
Yeah. Alright, so let's let it cool down.
Okay.
Alright. And in the meantime, we'll try to thread our,
Little round pieces.
yeah.
Sweet.
Alright, so we got to cut some threads in this thing, okay?
Okay.
Need a vice grip. Alright, so here we go. Gonna put some 10 by 1.5 might have to do this. There it goes. Give her some oil. Oil helps when you're cutting threads.
Yeah.
Okay?
Oil makes everything better.
Not everything.
Not coolant.
No.
You don't want oil in your coolant.
No. We won't use this oil in any engine now.
Don't think so?
No.
Don't wanna add metal shards?
Nope. Back around a little. Unit bit. Yeah. Could use a longer ratchet with some leverage. Might help.
Use your shortest ratchet for this? Yeah.
Actually, let's just move to the bench vise and
Okay.
I don't have to fight with it. Alright. It's also my electrical cord holder.
Ooh, that brings back nightmares.
There. Now I won't have to fight with it.
That works better.
Freaks me out on cutting edge when they just run them in with a machine.
When he does it with the the press or the...
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything he does is like scary.
But we'll send him this video though and kind of show him how this is done.
Yeah.
You know?
Here you go, Curtis.
Give him some ideas.
This is the proper way.
Is it coming through yet?
Just about. It's pushing stuff out. Come on. Yay! Sweet.
I'm going to oil it again. And you can see it is not centered very well. I don't know. How I got it that far off, but it doesn't matter how we're doing this stuff. But it'd be a good reason to get a metal lathe.
Yeah.
We get pin number 2.
Pin number 2.
Give it some oil. Much easier in a vise.
Yeah. It'd be easier if it wasn't round.
They have jaws for a vise that have little V shapes in them.
That'd be sweet.
Or we could make some. I could make some for this vise, and then we could also send that to Cutting Edge, so
Yeah.
maybe give them an idea how to do something like that.
Yeah.
Go, let's go.
Sweet.
All right, I'm just gonna leave those there for the next one.
Okay.
Okay. Clean the oil off of them. Alright, so make sure our bolts fit. And they do. I'll pick whichever end has it centered the best. Alright.
Okay.
So this one and that one. So we'll go with that. Alright. So now we need our bracket again. So we got to weld up this side yet, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's do our other welding so we can do what welding we have to do. We'll do it all at once, okay?
Okay.
All right. This is where it gets interesting. Okay. So there we have it. People are probably wondering about this piece. That's something just to hold on to when you're driving.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an extra ground. You
Yeah,
just put it out here.
Yeah, I'll put a ground cable in there.
Yeah.
No, it'll end up getting cut off. Okay?
Okay.
But we'll do that more towards the end. No sense in doing anything that we don't have to now.
Okay.
Right? All right. Okay. So at this point, we knew that bolt went through there. Okay.
Okay.
So our next thing to do is we'll take and we'll cut this off. Okay, we'll cut this piece off right there. But before we do that, we're going to take and we'll mark where its center line is. Okay? And it would work if I hadn't screwed up the marker. Okay? And then I'll cut this portion of it off.
All right.
All right?
Yeah, because you're not only setting it in farther, you're rotating it a little bit too.
Yeah. Okay, so imagine I'm cutting that off.
Okay.
There it is.
There it is.
Okay? And I had made the center line mark on that one.
Okay.
Okay? All right, so now we have it to where we can, we're going to have to go ahead and trim our plate off, okay? So let's do that. All right, at this point, we're going to put our little pedestals that we've made on the compressor.
Okay.
Okay. I did the best I could to get them centered. Well, why not just use this?
I don't know. Technology.
Oh, technology. What's next?
Flying cars.
All right, so I'm gonna the center line or the straight line on this one. I'm gonna use that as a reference point. Okay, and just make sure my little pedestals are straight, which this one's not. So I'm gonna move it. See if I get it straight. And it's almost, okay? This would be a lot easier with a lathe.
Yes.
Metal lathe, okay? So. Oh, that's nice. All right. Now I got it. Okay, perfect. All right, so what I want now is we tried to make these the same length, you know, but we did it with a chop saw, so that's not that's not anywhere near what we would call accurate. So let's measure what we got. I'm gonna need my glasses.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, we'll go from the edge of the bolt down to that corner because that's the corner that's going to hit the bracket that we made. Okay.
Okay.
So we're at 4.382.
4.382.
Okay. And this one is 4.70. Or I'm sorry, 4.370. So let's take a little bit off this edge and see if we can't get it to match up to 370.
Okay.
Okay. And before I do that, I am going to mark where these are at. Okay.
Oh yeah.
And we'll put a dot on this one so we know it's the front one.
Okay.
Good. So, precision machine work going on here.
Oh yeah.
So here we go. It does not take much to take that much off. Now it's 378. Okay. Can you read that one? 375. Right?
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right. It's almost exactly the same.
Sweet.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So it's straight this way, And that dimension is the length from the head of that bolt and the head of this bolt are the same, okay?
Okay.
So let's put it on the engine. This isn't like the permanent time.
Oh, okay.
All right, so I'm gonna put a zip tie around this one to hold it up. All right, okay. This is where you gotta hold it. I don't want it touching the engine, all right? But I do want it as close into the engine as possible, okay?
Okay.
So I've got my line that we initially cut.
Ooh, yeah.
We made that. It lines up with the center bolt, so we know the
Pulleys.
compressor and the pulley is going to line up.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we know that these are parallel, right?
Yep.
So we'll eyeball it a little bit. And we know that we did our center line on that piece of steel, our
base.
first bar that we made.
Yeah, kind of a base piece.
Yep. Okay. So at this point, I've got it sitting where it looks like it should be. So we're at 30 seconds?
Yep.
Right there. Okay. And 30 seconds. So that's not good, right?
No.
So it's off a little bit. Okay, so the way it sits, we've got it up off the engine just a little bit with a zip tie, okay?
Okay.
I am going to, it wants to fall back against the engine right here. It's hard to hold it in its place. So I'm going to hold it in its spot, all right?
Okay.
And I'm going to put a tack on this one, and then we'll measure everything
Okay.
and make sure everything is good. And if everything's good, then we'll start welding everything else up.
Okay.
Okay, and then we'll make our piece for that.
All right.
Okay. Did you see juice?
No. What's juice doing? Juice. Oh my goodness. What are you doing? Huh? Is he taking a nap?
All right, so I'm going to tack it. Before I tack it, I'm going to kind of eyeball everything and make sure everything looks nice and straight. All right, and then after I tack it, we will take some measurements. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm going to line my compressor up with that center bolt, the center of the bolt hole.
Yep. That mark.
Okay. Yep. It's pretty easy to eyeball it with the other pulley grooves. Okay. And then I'm going to eyeball it with my first bracket that I did in line with those two bolts. Okay.
Okay.
And I'm going to do a pretty decent tack in here. Okay. Whew. Okay, so now we can start measuring things. I can tell that's already off a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Just by eyeballing it, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Sometimes it's easier to tack it and then fix it. Because at least then you have something to go off of.
Yeah.
That's what I tell myself sometimes.
Okay. All right. Let's look at 30 seconds. Okay.
Okay.
So we're at 30 seconds there. Oh, and 12 there. Huh. Wow, it's actually straight. It doesn't look straight, does it? When you look at it?
It looks weird, but there's so much
Right.
going on there.
Okay. And I'm going to make sure there's no, the compressor's not touching anything anywhere. Okay. It's not touching its bolt. It's not touching the engine anywhere. Okay.
Okay.
And so then I'm going to come in here and do a good tack in here. Okay. On this back pedestal.
Okay.
Okay. And my bolt, it is lined up with that one. All right. And I'm looking at my center line. I'm just eyeballing my center line, and it's right on also. So Okay. Alright, so I'm gonna look at my clearance around everything. Not touching anything. I'm gonna go ahead and put some better tacks on the pedestals.
Okay.
Alright? Alright, so we gotta let it cool down with it bolted to the compressor like that, alright? Okay. So now we gotta make our one that goes between the compressor and here.
Okay.
Okay? So fortunately, I've already made that piece. We just gotta cut it to length.
Okay.
Alright? So it's the same as the other ones that we did. I just had to cut one. And then I didn't know how long it was going to be. I thought it was going to be longer than what it is in there. But, so now I got to measure the distance between here and there. And I'll cut it at a angle to try and make it a little better weld, you know. Mm-hmm. But, so. And then we'll bolt it to that. It will tack it and we'll weld those up.
Okay.
From there to there, 30 seconds. Right there. So that'll be our shortest point.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so our bolt's too long, all right?
That's a problem.
So we need to take a little bit of length off of our bolt. Let's see how our piece fits.
Ooh.
Pretty nice.
Yeah.
Right?
Cool.
I can just hold up on it,
Okay.
you know, and I'll tack it.
Okay.
I said I was going to tack it, but what I really meant was I'm just going to weld it.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, go in here and put a tack on it. Not too bad, huh? Let's check our, okay, so our distance from the square portion right there, it's within 3 inches, so it's a ½ inch. Even the line is 3/4 of an inch away from the frame.
Oh.
So it gives you some pretty good room.
Yeah. Much better.
Much better.
Yes.
All right.
How did you come up with such a awesome idea?
Well, it always bugged me when we did the 74 and I cut the frame on it. And when I talked to Jeff, the owner of the truck from Mississippi,
Yes.
he is one of those guys that says, hey, kind of do what you think is the best thing to do, you know?
Yeah.
Even if it takes some time or whatever. So if you have the time to do something, you can sit down and figure it out. And so that's what I did. And this actual one will go into the red one, but as soon as we're done here, I'll turn around and I'll start making another one for his truck. So when we do his truck, it'll just be done. But it just started from me thinking that I was going to have to cut the frame on his truck. Because every time that I go and I buy the bracket
Yeah, to move the compressor.
To reposition it.
Yeah.
It always bugs me. I've never. They always work okay, but I've never been like super happy with them.
And this will be a lot more solid, I think, than those kits to relocate them. You know.
Yeah, I mean, there's instances where you have to use those. That's just the way it is, and they do work fine. We've used them in the past, but I've always just wanted to keep it in the stock position because it looks so nice. And,
hide it.
But,
you never know what's there.
Yep. So that motivated me to put my mind to it, and do it. Plus, I was about to buy the air conditioning stuff for this one, and I just didn't want to do it. So they're getting like a one of a kind.
Yeah.
So far.
But that's a pretty genius way to do it, though.
Yeah, I think so.
With the 1-inch bar and drilling them and tapping them.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty advanced technology.
Yeah, it is really advanced.
You could come up with those ideas.
Well, I probably shouldn't say, but I have some people that are kind of in the know, and I'm not saying that they actually work at Area 51, but I might have gotten this idea from aliens.
I knew it.
Yep. So they're getting ideas from them. They're just about out of ideas. Okay.
Oh.
They're not torturing them physically, from what I understand.
That's good.
Yeah, but they are making them listen to Adele songs over and over on a loop.
Oh, that's horrible.
And they're cracking. They're cracking.
Is anyone, standing up for the alien, their conditions there? That sounds terrible for them.
No, they don't care. Nobody cares.
Oh, poor little aliens.
Well, you got to watch where you land. I guess they crash landed though, so I guess it wasn't really up to them where
That's true.
Where they landed.
Yeah.
Okay, so there we go. All right, so now we just have one more bracket we got to do. Well, two more brackets. We're going to do one from this bolt down to that one, and then we're going to do this bolt into the back of the compressor, and it will end up here. But already this thing, it's solid, okay?
Yeah.
What I'm gonna do for this back one is I'm gonna come in here, I'm gonna cut this off, I'm gonna basically make a flat spot, and we'll drill a hole through that big boss right there.
Okay.
Okay, so let's do that, and then all we got to do then is work on our brackets that go from here down to there to help support that, and then this one that'll go across the back of this one.
Okay.
Okay?
Cool.
All right. Seem fine with you?
Sure.
Okay. So on this one, we'll just go with the meatiest portion of what's left of this aluminum here, okay?
Okay.
So looking at it from the top, goes from there to there, okay? Draw it off. So to me, it would be right about there. And we're going to go with an 8mm bolt, not a 10mm bolt. So definitely wouldn't want to screw it into that.
No.
You know?
Probably leak.
Yeah. All right, so let's change the bit on the drill press.
Okay.
All right, so in order to tap a 8mm, 1.5mm pitch, It is 17/64 drill bit, okay?
Yes.
And then we'll run a tap through it. I didn't have to drop it down that far.
It was fun though.
Okay. All right, so this is an 8mm by 1.5mm pitch.
I would have went with a 1.6 pitch personally.
Oh yeah, that's better.
Yes.
Well, you would be wrong.
So.
Yes. This thing is nice and thick, so it's going to get a good bite on those threads.
Yeah.
So that's that.
Sweet.
Like I said, you probably wouldn't have to do this, but I'm not somebody that does something halfway, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm also going to take a little bit more off of here, because there's no sense in having that, because it is pretty close to the
Okay.
engine right there. So I'm going to take a little bit more off. Okay.
Sweet.
Just take a quick look at it again. Remember my one shorter bolt. I could take a little bit more off of this. It's kind of tight right there. So I'll take some off of that again, but we can do that later on.
Okay.
All right, so now we need to let's build this bracket and we can tack everything.
Okay.
And then we can build that one with it with the compressor off, okay?
Okay.
So we don't need to worry about that. It doesn't have to be as heavy material as the other stuff. So let's do it out of this.
Okay.
This is
3/16 by 1.
okay. All right, so we'll come straight down with a piece of this.
Okay.
So we'll cut it off. Then we'll come straight up right here, and then straight back. So we'll end up welding the piece that goes straight up onto this bracket, and then the other one onto this other little piece that we're gonna put right there. Okay.
Okay.
And then we'll have to put a shim in there.
Yeah, fill that space a little bit.
Yep.
Sweet.
So basically it'll go right about there, and then straight down to that.
Cool. That
Okay.
makes sense.
So let's make a piece that is, let's just make one 1.25 inches that comes down
Okay.
off of this bolt. All right. Okay. All right. So that one will be that long. Let's go ahead and put the bolt hole in it first. All right. So I'm going to offset the bolt hole just a little bit to push this out a ways from the compressor.
Okay.
Okay. So. That should be about good.
Oh my god, okay. Okay.
Okay, so let's just cut it off with a cutting wheel. Okay. While we're at it, I'm just going to drill the other. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm just going to go ahead and drill it, and I basically am just going to want it to come out, and we'll just heat it up and make it hit the other one.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Good thing that bar was there to save you.
I know. Keeps trying to get me.
Oh, I scratched that.
Oh, no.
Alright, so that piece is going to go there. Okay, so so from there, we are going to go, and so I'll have to put a angle on that, all right? And then we'll come straight over, we'll cut it, and make it go right to that bar,
Right down.
okay?
Sweet.
Okay. And then before we do that, we'll have to figure out where our hole is,
Yeah.
so we can put a bolt in there, and a spacer.
Yep.
Okay, so let me put the angle on here. Then we'll measure our length straight up. Okay.
Okay.
A little better,
Okay.
right?
Yep.
Okay. So now I need to make a spacer that's going to take up that space.
Okay.
See,
Yeah.
I don't know what that came off of, but that piece will be perfect.
Sweet.
Okay, so it'll go to that, right?
Sweet.
Okay. So let's make our hole in this to line up with that,
Okay.
and then we can,
Tack your spacer to the
yeah,
that piece.
yeah. All right. So the center of the bolt is right there. Okay. Make it right about there. Couldn't have got that more perfect, right?
Yeah, that looks nice.
Yeah. Okay. Oh man. It's amazing too that this is only taking us 15 minutes.
Yeah. Yep. Juice is giving up.
All right, so I want to take my square and I'm going to lift it up a little bit. And there we go. And grab me a 13mm wrench.
13 M&Ms.
Okay, so now we need a piece to come up here. It doesn't need to be straight across.
Okay.
Okay, right there.
Juice!
Joe, be quiet.
Come here. Come here.
So, we'll use a magnet.
Okay.
Hopefully that'll do it. Okay,
Okay.
look good?
Yep.
Alright, I'm going to put a little tack on this one.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and hit this one good. I'm going to tack it on both ends and then I'll weld it up. I'm going to tack the bottom one down here on both ends. Take the magnet off. Just going to tack that. I'm not going to weld it.
Okay.
Okay. Our little washer spacer thing that'll just be tacked good.
Okay.
Ah!
Hot.
Alright, so what I need to do is take this one and take it from here and get down to my bracket down there.
Okay.
So trim what we don't need off of it.
I'm handful of
Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and just weld that one. Okay? Tack it first, and then I'm gonna come back in here, finish these off on the back sides. Okay?
Okay.
Hooligan neighbors.
Yeah. Oh, Ripley's nervous.
No.
Ah, there's fireworks.
No.
I hate it.
I'm gonna go ahead and do these since they gotta cool off anyway. So, while it's still there and hot, bolt the compressor to it. Just making sure everything is still in line. Alright, so we're almost finished. I did have to trim the ICT bracket, okay? So it would miss this.
Oh, I see.
Alright, so I trimmed that end of it off, and I trimmed that off also. Okay?
Okay.
So I think I'm going to redo this. I think I'm going to make it so it has a bolt that comes in from this side, and I'll weld a nut on this side. I'll make access to it through this bracket so a person can loosen that up, because it'd be tough to take the compressor off with the bracket right there. Okay, and the new or the clamshell mount it ends up going into the second to last hole.
Okay.
Or you could use that hole if you wanted. All right.
Okay.
And after we clean this all up, I'm gonna have to do some grinding on it to make it fit.
Okay.
And we'll do all that work, and we'll show you the finished product here in just a few moments.
Sweet.
We'll probably show it to you without paint, but we would paint it.
Yes.
Right?
It will eventually be painted.
Yes. And I'll fix this other problem in the meantime also.
Okay.
Okay? Alright, I got all the rough edges off this thing. I got some nice curves around it. Some of the metal gone that doesn't need to be there. It still needs to be worked on a little bit, but I'm tired and I want to know that this is done, and we'll work on it tomorrow, okay?
Okay.
We'll paint it up, of course.
Yeah.
Alright,
Yeah.
so let's assemble it and show everybody how tight everything fits. I already bolted the ICT motor mount on. I ended up having to take another little corner out of it to miss the nut and bolt that I had to put there. Okay.
Ooh, okay.
All right. So I did try it both ways. Like if the motor mount is already bolted on here, you can get the bracket in there. Okay.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So, however a person did it, you wouldn't have to take either or off to get it out, okay? Okay, this bottom bolt, the one that's underneath the compressor, I did take and I ground the little ridge off of it, okay? And I have a different one for it. This one, and this is what I'll actually use, but for using an impact purpose.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing right now, okay? It was easier for me to take it on and off that way. So, 4 bolts. I'm not going to do this one today because I got to go get a different Allen bolt for it.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
But it does work. So, show them how tight it is right around there.
Yeah.
All right, so the compressor, it basically just sits on there. Then once the mount is installed, that other bolt, I made access for it to get in there and get that bolt in there.
Okay.
So it's held in with 4 bolts like it's supposed to be. All right.
Okay.
Not going anywhere.
No.
I made the motor mount. I'll have to move it over on the frame, but you can either use this hole, the furthest back one, or this hole. Okay?
Okay.
So I'm going to use this one because I want it sitting as far forward as possible. I had to trim the clamshell mount a little bit, but it'll work on that spot. Or if I wanted to use that one, I'll put a different bolt on there anyway, like the other one.
Okay.
But then I trim it more. But I just want it to go on this one. Okay.
Okay.
And then the motor mount bolt, it's so tight in there, you know, it's not going to go in the other direction. So I put the nut on that side of the clamshell and welded it in there. So It'll just go through this side, be tightened down, and it is done.
Sweet.
Okay, so there you have it.
How about them apples?
Yep. So, do you think we should put a belt on it maybe?
Oh.
I went to O'Reilly's this morning and I bought every stretch fit belt that they had.
Okay.
Okay. Every one that was close to fitting this one. I took some measurements before I went to the store and found some that I thought were close. And I bought all of them. And I'm going to return the others. Okay?
You want to keep them for your collection?
No. Nope. All right. So I know it's not that one.
Okay.
So let's go up a size. 72, 55, 65, 59, 52. So 52 would be the next one, right? So let's try 59 because that other one was pretty tight. Okay. All right, so that one I can almost stretch it around by hand. Okay.
Okay.
So let me try the other one that's a little smaller. Okay. So that one will work fine.
Sweet.
Right. So let's do that. Oh, here we go. Let's see if the engine. We should check to see if the engine would turn over, because you don't know. I don't want it to fall off this side. We on? Right?
No.
Oh, it keeps falling. That's what you need the zip tie for.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
There it goes.
There you go. It feels really nice. All right.
Sweet.
So there you have it. All right, so what was the measurement before?
9.5, I think.
Okay, and so from center to bolt to center crankshaft bolt, 8.5 inches.
Wow.
All right, so we moved it in about an inch, and then if you look on this side, like I said, it's 3.5 inches from right there to the inside edge of the frame on a square body. Okay?
Yeah.
So we are at about 2.5 inches on that fitting. So it gives you more than enough room to run a line right there. And it doesn't interfere with the water pump, the heater hoses.
Yep.
So it should work just fine. Thank you, Reed, for the use of this engine.
And all the bolts that we took out of it.
Yeah.
Way to go, babe.
Thanks.
High five.
High five. All right. I know you can buy a kit to do this. It doesn't use the stock donor compressor from these trucks, so doing it this way, you could potentially save yourself, a good $400 or $500.
Yeah.
Even though it's a lot of work. I've got 3 more of them that I need to do. Okay. Yes. Now that I got it nailed down, we know what we're doing with them. I'll let Emily tell you where they're going.
Yeah. So if you caught our live last week, we gave away a couple accelerator pedals and hung out with you guys for a while and had an awesome time. And we've decided that since we are making brackets, we're gonna go ahead and make an extra one and give that away. So if you wanna be in on that drawing, go down to the comments and tell us all about your project. Let us know that you wanna be in the drawing and we will put your name in the hat And I know some of you guys didn't get a notification for our last live. So make sure you're following us on Facebook and Instagram. I will put links down below. It's a lot easier to keep you guys updated over there. So stay tuned for details on the live. And as always, we hope this video helps you out. We appreciate you guys watching, and we will catch you next time. Bam.
Come here. Yes. Yes. Come on. Oh my goodness. Here we go. Whee! Whee!